Oh, you gotta love this stadium. Finally, he's playing in it. Let's flip the coin. Let's check the coin. And, of course, let's keep the coin. Well done. We're getting all paid up for second game of the playoffs here in the Hooligan Division. It is a surprising rematch again with Kislev versus Ogres, as has been noted earlier on in the broadcast this week. It shouldn't be this matchup, because only because of a misclick is the only reason the Ogres are stuck here, position 4, playing the Kislev. Is this the matchup they want? That's a good question. It might actually be the worst matchup they could possibly get, but we'll see what happens. This is Blood Bowl and anything can happen. As you can see, they've unfortunately left the sprinkler system on. They were trying to get the grass nice and green. Well, the fame has actually gone to the Ogres because, well, quite frankly, anyone who's been checking the broadcast realised that some of the biggest fans of this Ogre team is this one. So, his own supporters have already migrated over and started cheering for him. So here's the kick. Both teams get an extra reroll, so they're going to make this crazy. So congratulations. The Ogres now have the 4 rerolls they're actually going to need to actually do well. And it's a brilliant kick. And they're going to get to work. And it looks like the Kislev just like, well, if the weather's going to be like this, time to go for the early one. And I can see you all already complaining. You're declaring a blitz with your big guy. Why are you doing that? It's the wrong move. Here's the argument very quickly. Pouring Rain has to pick up the ball, and he can easily howitzer any of these snotlings down the field, pick up the ball, and early score. As the coach, he knew there's a 1 somewhere. He's got to burn it out. It's the best way to burn it out before he goes to pick up the bloody ball. He ate it to win it. Because if it worked, well, it's 3 dice with block into a snotling. You can see exactly as he's called it. There's another 1. He does make the throw. And off he goes. Got to get it still, you know, some of these coaches get to know what the array is going to do some days. So suddenly it doesn't look like such a bad play now, does it? Well, who knows? Maybe he could have set something up a little differently there. Well, anybody's guess here. We'll see how the game develops. Makes the quick dodge away. Off he goes. He does have the ball KOL screen. And now it's time for the Ogres to give what for. Now the Ogres here, of course, have developed gradually. They finally did manage to buy the 3rd reroll, and thanks to the fans, they now have a 4th one, which is where they want to be in the first place. And as noted, finally, they've got 2 reserves getting into this game. And they're swinging their punches away. Boneheads are going on. There's push me, push you. 2 dice front line, solid hit. Let's see if they get any results out of this one. Well, that was quick. Now, right, they got one.
You wouldn't let me join, would you blackballing bastards?
And you can see push away here. And he's moving a couple more players into position. And now here come the snotlings. Now you're probably wondering, why is he taking the long route? And there he goes, 1 dice uphill. And of course, well, he ends up hurting himself. Well, yeah. That's what happens.
Don't play with matches.
Exactly. So, Kislev now get to look at the situation going, well, how do they want to do? Do they want to stall this one out? They like to score. Well, frankly, Pouring Rain, it's probably a good idea to score. Now, admittedly, they got Snotling here, it's agility 4, but it's Pouring Rain. Should be an easy thing to deal with. Well, you saw it right there. He did do a 3-die block on Snotling there. And didn't get anywhere. And he does another 3 dice there. Doesn't get anywhere. You might want to pay attention to that. That's going to be a recurring theme this game. Kislev, though, do get in. And they do get the oily score.
For home country.
So, rather quickly scored here. Kislev do recover the 1 KO. And you can see the 1 Snotling, mind you, the Snotling is out due to him throwing the block and failing. Kislev at this point here have already thrown 6 dice with block at the Snotlings and have achieved nothing. Aye, you're going to be hearing about that one. But that's Blood Bowl for you. But don't worry, game is still fresh. Pouring rain, let's see how things work out here. Ogre team, let's turn this around a wee bit here to see how he's going to advance this ball here. Now, admittedly, he does have the rather fantastic player, which now he's brought in. You can see on the defense, didn't risk these players. One with a movement increase, this is the phenomenal one. Movement increase, sure feet, that's a good choice of skill. Basically makes him a movement 8 Snotling. And of course the agility increase. But remember, pouring rain, well, that's pretty funny. He's got himself another reroll. That's absolutely great.
Bogus.
So, there you go. The Ogres now suddenly have themselves, you've got it, 5 rerolls for this drive. You might want to pay attention to that. That might come relevant as this game goes on. The fact they've suddenly got themselves 5 rerolls. It means now this Ogre team is actually in a unique position. They can actually afford things going wrong. Now, normally that's usually what starts the drive. But this Ogre team now has many, and you can see it right there immediately, spends a reroll because with 5, he can easily not think, well, I might have to save it. Now he can do it right away. Because he's got plenty more where that came from. Ogres have decided, well, they better get to work trying to thin out this team. And so far, it's not turning out quite the way they planned here. So they've decided, well, good. They better move some coverage in, because they've realised what a Kislev team can really do about this. Now here comes trying to pick up the ball. The lad's got it. Not too much worries in AG4, but mind you, he was looking for 3s. And now let's see what the Kislev team can actually do. As you can see here, moving up here to try and give the Snotlings a wee bit of a problem. Ah, here we go. 3 dice with block. That's now 0 for 3, his success rate. This is becoming a theme in the Hooligan Division, isn't it? Not just, dice going a little wrong, dice going spectacularly wrong. But this time it's a different team having it happen. It's not on the defense, so to speak. It's by the actual active team having dice not work out right. There's your first bonehead there. Well, that was overdue. And the Ogres are now going to get back to work. Let's see if they can actually do something here. At this point here, the Ogres have 7 turns, plenty of time to drive down the field. And they are quite creatively throwing in quite a few good solid blocks. There's another Kislev player down, but so far they haven't broken anything except for that early KO, which has already come back. And he's moving himself into the better position. Here comes the blitz. And he's decided to do the blitz up the field. And he does get a solid hit. And does get himself, a decent, good, solid result. It's a stun. He does make a break with ball carrier. Not a perfect spot. So you're wondering about that one, are you? You're here thinking, oh, it's a dodge on a 2. Not precisely. It's a dodge on a 4 diving tackle. You're seeing it here saying, hey, it's a dodge on a 2. No, it's a dodge on a 4. This is the problem sometimes with a replay, especially when it comes to certain skills. See? This time it finally calculated it. Oh, I make the dodge on a 2. No, you don't. It's a dodge on a 4, but of course he does make the reroll. So for you keeping track in there goes your dodging. Dodges on 4s, and of course he makes 3 for 4. It's a 50% chance, isn't it, lads? Just saying, that's just math. Of course, he's got the Snotlings now all marked up here in the back here. He says, you're not going to try that again, lad. Let's see if your luck holds up. And the Kislev team, well, having to make a minor adjustment going, well, that didn't work the way. Let's see if we can do something in here. And you can see They've had to decide to commit the bear to try and keep these players pinned in. Slight adjustment. In goes a god of all things. And now you can see here comes the crazy play. And he's in. Oh, look, he finally got one. And it's only a stun. And yep, you just saw that. You just saw that one.
Tagged for extinction.
Pouring rain. 3 tackle zones. Ogre rolls a 6 and catches the ball. Of all the places he could have bounced, that's the worst place he wanted. Well, what you do, it's Blood Bowl. And the Kislev has no choice but to readjust and wait for something average to finally happen. Well, to push me, push you, and the Ogres go back to swinging. Double skulls, but he can safely re-roll that because, well, he's got 4 of them left over. There's a solid hit, and he's got the player down. It's push me, push you. His reasoning for that one is, of course, he's got to try and protect the snotling. How about this one? Well, 2 dice, he does get the solid hit. Does he get a result this time? And yes, he does. And there's a KO.
Excellent!
And now on the side flank there, 2 more dice, and he gets another solid hit. Down that lag goes. And you see it there, finally. There's a failed dodge. He finally rolls average. Of course, as you'd say, according to the array, that's just balanced out the 50-50. And the Kislev get back to work there. They do succeed falling on the 3-die hit. Moves himself in. And he's even gotten a KO out of it. Well done. Well, that will work pretty nicely there.
Conscript reporting.
But now they've got a Proza. How are they going to get this ball? Well, as you can see here, with Blockhead once again fails to hit. This is now becoming his recurring theme. Well, that's it. He's getting fully committed to try and get this ball. And the bear does get a solid hit. And he even is going to you. You got it. Got a break.
Here comes the sun.
But the Getty does work, fortunately for the Ogres, but that does clear an Ogre off the pitch. And suddenly, well, they're actually down players on this drive. Ogres now have decided, well, let's get back to work here. Ball's still free. And there's a solid hit. Snotling comes through, trying to add an extra assistant here so the Ogre can get more dice in. And also he's, well, in his own funny way, screening the ball carrier. Unplanned, but it's an Ogre. Push me, push you. And now here comes the crazy blitz. He decides to focus the attack in. And he does have the solid hit. And he's got himself a result. It's a stun. Well, that will free him up. And yeah, you saw that right. Ball getting a 2-dice block. He gets away with it. And there you go. There is, unfortunately, that is probably the critical play of the game.
Don't cut that out!
The bear's out. Kislev decides not to apothecary it. And you can see, once again, there's a stun. But let's actually note that here, once again, you're dealing with diving tackle, passing through, and once again, he makes both. He makes his dodges. Even though he had to make multiple doing it, he makes all of them. Again, looking for 4s, makes them all. All he rolls is 4s and 6s. Well, like we said, it's Blood Bowl. There's the risk. He makes it 2 red dice. Well, he doesn't get much choice at this point. He's got to get after this ball carrier. And he decides, yes, he will take it. And you can see what happens there. It's just a stun. Not the result the Kislev were hoping for. Not only does this take them out of player, but from their viewpoint, stun's useless at that. He was looking for the 7, doesn't even get that one. And that leaves the Ogres, once again, pulling the actions in. And they're getting back to work here. Rerolls the Bonehead, once again, does feel confidence because he's got those 2 free rerolls. At this point, the Ogres should be out of rerolls, but he's holding 2. And finally, it comes back to Autumn, fails the block, and there might be the only opportunity for the Kislev to try and get this ball killer, and you can see they are trying. And they're definitely bringing players into the forefront here. Now, some would say, was that a misplay by the Kislev? Yes, they miscounted that one and ended up on a 2 red-eye block instead of the one they thought they had. And then they failed the easy dodge. Well, not their day. Not their day indeed. Ogre team continues on advancing down the field. Solid it. Do they get a result out of this one? Well, it's a stun. They'll take it. It does keep one of those dangerous diving tackle players out of the play. And meanwhile, continuing the drive here, they do get a push me, push you. At this point, they'll actually take that one. And you can see why they're doing that, because they realise with diving tackle, they've got to take the player out. And they do succeed. This does free up the ball carrier. He does make the boneheaded roll. And you can see it continues again here. Now this time, this is far more reasonable because it's typical Stunty and Tinchy. Well, he's now free after the failed easy dodge. Brings in 3 dice, once again, fails to achieve everything. Meanwhile, bringing up the field here. 1 die. Well, he's got no choice at this matter. And he does get the Ogre down. And he has brought in a wee bit of a screen. He's got the Snotlings covered. And he decides to actually protect this one player. Don't blame him at this point. He's figuring, well, if it's going to work, it's going to work. Ogres, bringing a player all the way back, do get 3 dice, do get the push away, and of course in the pouring rain, do make the handoff. He makes the throw, and of course does make the landing because AG4. Before anyone asked about that one there, it's the difference between JW 2017, the legal rules, and of course the LRB rules, considering, you know, where his aim point was, where he scattered to, 6, 8, 7, it's a beautiful scatter. 3 does actually work. And it unfortunately becomes an easy touchdown. Now, as they say, that's Blood Bowl for you. They will take that score. And, well, that basically does that happen then. And of course, here we are. This halftime is brought to you by Spooge. Those credit cards are not going to pay themselves, are they, darling? Well, the Kislev have repaired the players. Of course, KOs have recovered here. And back in they go. Before anyone asks, the only Bloodwiser babe of all things is on the side of the Kislev team. And now it's the time for the Ogres drive. 1-1 is your tie score. Not exactly as expected, but as we said, that's Blood Bowl for you. There's the kick. And there's the look the Ogres need. The weather clears. So here they go again. Stacking up the light screen here around the ball. From the Kislev viewpoint, that's not a bad kick. It's easily accessible by the vast majority of the team. They can get here, they can cause damage, they can stopple up this team. Meanwhile, up ahead, Ogres once again start trying to get back to work. And so far, it's push me, push you. Kind of below average innings so far, but the below average inning seems to be going universal. Everybody's rolling below average. At least so far. If someone would say, though, who's profiting more by below average rolls? Well, let's face it, when you have Stunty, you're glad when he can't hit you. There's a bonehead, finally, and you've taken count. Congratulations, that is only, literally only, the third bonehead in 9 turns. Well, he's stunned. As you can see, easy pickup. Notice the roll. It's a 2. It's a shame about that rain. And you just always keep the player within this position here. It's not a bad idea. So, Kislev do see they have a slight opening, and they've got to put all the pressure in right bloody now. They've got to go get this ball. Of course, it does mean risk will be the business. They'll take advantage of the one bonehead, and they start ploughing players right down the field. And they certainly are bringing players in. They're going to keep the Ogres screened away. That seems to be the plan, all right. And in it comes. Here's the blitz. Makes the go for it. And yup, you saw that right. It's a triple skull.
I'm cold.
And those who watch the cast, he does it again. Block, skull. So a 1-2-16 followed by 1-27. Believe it or not, the only thing he does right, he brings in a block player this time. He even gets a KO out of the result. Makes the leap. But I was looking, that's the first time he's even done a leap this game. Screens up the Ogres. Doesn't look like such a bad turn. So now, Snotlings have to advance themselves down the pitch here and try and do something with this. Now you're finally seeing, well, boneheads, it's the same player. So he makes a push me, push you. Does get away with it. Hello, Ogres, changing position. Makes the blitz. Comes in, does get the solid hit, gets the player. And yep, finally he's cracked the armor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
So here comes the Snotling, charging up the field. And yep, you saw that right. He hands it off to the Ogre because that worked so well last time. And don't get me wrong, it's not a bad idea. But again, it's another one of those, you know, handing off in a 50% situation, and it works. And yep, you just saw it again. 50-50. And you just saw it again. And again. I'm certainly understand the bitterness the Kislev coach is having with, you know, lack of average die rolls this week going on in the Hooligan Division. Well, risk is the business. He's decided, well, he's got to do something here. And again, 3 dice with block. Fails to hit anything. Gets established, though. But he's got no choice at this point. He's got to try and force something to happen. Well, he's had to go back here. Try and screen up this position. Maybe throw it. He gets the 1 die block. Does get away with it. And does succeed in at least clearing 1 Ogre for a little while here. Puts other players in a good position here. Makes the dodge away. And gets to once again wait for an average die roll. Ogres. Well, there's a lot they can do about that. It's the strength the Ogre team does have with that many dice. And now they're just going to start solidly rolling 2 dice blocks. And they just hope to avoid the dreaded 1 in 9s. Now, you think I'm going to jinx it, aren't you? But if anyone's been paying attention here, the Ogres have rolled only 1 in 9 at this point. And of course, once again, they do get that solid hit. And of course, the ball carrier does get to break away. Snotlings get to continue advancing up the field. And he's going to keep this one under good protection. Here comes the rest of the Snotling crew. He finally re-rolls another bonehead. He can afford the re-roll at this point here. And you can see here, now he's actually starting to, go into fouls here. Because he sees how these...
goddamn disgrace!
As you can see how the rolls are going this game, he might as well exploit a tilted game. Kislev, once again, 3 dice. Fails to work once again. But he's got no choice. Moves in, tries to exploit the situation. And he goes once more. And he leaps in. And you can see the risk is the business. He gets the roll. And of course, 2 rolls. Looking for all he looks for is a 2 and 3. And a 2 and 3. And he skulls it out. Well, that's what you have to do.
What is it?
Ogres, well, life's starting to get easier for them, isn't it? Solid it once again. And at this point, I'd say it's only a matter of time before Kislev armor finally starts to break under this just relentless punishment. Because what can they do about it? And as predicted, there it is, right there. And
You don't frighten us, English pig dogs!
Russian, not English. But, of course, Kenny again has managed to break away. And then the bonehead on the player, that doesn't matter at that point. And you can see the snotlings. They're going to go try and get back to work one more time. And you can say, well, and he tries it again. He does get the player. There's a down. Moves in a position, and he decides, you know what, again. Well, that it is. Kislev, unfortunately, suffer
Ivan's not home.
casualty. They decide to apothecary this now because they can see how the game's going, and there's not really much they can do about it. Once again, they make the heroic. They've had to do 3 dice uphill. They actually now get a, from their viewpoint, almost normal result, but all it is a push. According to the coach, game didn't show the snotling. That should have been 2 dice. However, I can kind of believe that one being a mapping error, but you know what? I think most of those glitches are kind of gone at this point. That's the advantage of the snotlings. We've seen every coach have that problem trying to spot these little buggers. He makes yet another leap. But of course fails the easy dodge. Well, he's getting used to that by now. For those of you counting, that's right. Kislev have made 1 of 3 dodges. Actually, technically 1 and 4. They re-rolled 1. Finally, the Ogres, turn 13, actually fail at the second block roll. Precious re-roll used. And then the Ogres, finally on that turn, have catastrophe happen. And it looks like Nuffles now try to bounce the array out again. But is it too late? The Kislev are down, not 1, they're down 4 players. Well, they're going to risk it. They come in, 3 die block. They finally got 1. But do they get a result they could use? It's a stun. As he would bluntly say, not what he's looking for. And once again, 2 dice uphill. And he's shoving players around. He's trying to get something in there. And I can see why he is, because he's trying to at least force the Ogres to make rolls that can go very wrong. But I don't think it's happening anymore. I think that turn was all he was going to get for normal rolls. Ogres continue the relentless assault again, more hitting. And this might be the swan song. There's a bonehead. Is it critical? Well, that's a big question at this point here. But they do get another solid hit on the flank. And down goes that poor lad. All job he's doing is trying to tie up players. And you can see it there, the Ogres do easily clean up the mess It's an easy KO, and well, so much for that one.
Stand up, boy. You're tripping over your own feet.
Well, he's done for that one. We can zoom up, and you can see, finally, again, fails the dodge. While trying to do, you got it, more fouling, and down goes that lad.
For Mother Russia.
As we said, sometimes it's very funny watching the array try to balance a tilted game. But what you do, because usually by this point the damage is already done. 3 dice, and of course, critical play he needed, and it fails miserably. Well, here he goes again. He finally does get successful. It moves in, and he's finally got one.
Ready for meltdown.
It makes you wonder to the Kislev, where was this earlier? 2 dice uphill. All he gets is the push, and unfortunately it even moves the player close, but yeah, what's your choice at this point? And now he's starting to even risk more players trying to screen the situation up. Ogre team down to 1 reroll. Kislev, they've got nothing left in the tank. And the fury of blocking continues. And well, that's the second death. And that's probably the end of this one.
Your probability of success is insignificant and dropping.
Yeah, not surprising. But it's only been a matter of time the way this game's going. And there's another solid hit. And it's a push me, push you. But at this point here, the Ogres aren't concerned. It's the ball safely in their hands there. And there you go, finally, another 1 in 9. But at this point in this late stage of the game, it's far too late to make a difference. Reroll's done, and the team is probably away. He does make the roll, and he's off. Yeah, you saw it there. Complete frustration. As the Kislev team would point out to you, they can easily get, maybe it's 2 more dice uphill, but they can get them. They've got block. It's a 2 and 3 in their favour that can probably prevent the score. So what happens? You got it.
I am going.
1 in 36. It's not the day, is it? Well, Ogres, it should be an easy put away. And they're just marching down the field now, but still going to come down to, well, he rolled a 1. Well, he's fortunately rolled it down here, of all things. Good timing on his part. And you can see it that he's just rolled a second one. But he's in, and it's 2-1. And that is about the tail of the tape there. As you would admit, it's pretty ironic. He rolls 2 boneheads in a row. Well, that is it. That is probably it. Kislev team. They gave everything they got, but Nuffle, well, Nuffle, you're a cunt. Well, Ogres are preparing for the possibility of a riot. Kislev have counted it out and said even with the extra square, now they cannot make a 1-turn touchdown despite the 1 movement increase player. Maybe if he had sprint, it's a maybe possibility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. Then they can do some creative sidestepping, but of course snotlings. So that's not happening anytime soon. There's the kick. And you can see once again, free reroll. And there it is, it's a touchback. Well, the Kislev decide, well, they'll just take the ball. And, well, it looks like it's time just for a couple of just glory swings. And right now, as you can see, here we go again.
Engineering.
There's 1 success. It's a push me, push you. Didn't expect much from that one. On the flank there. Oh, look! Where were all these earlier?
Here comes the sun.
There's a stun. Well, now he's decided to blitz away. Oh, look, that actually worked too.
Attacking.
And he got a KO. Like I said, it's very funny how the array acts on dice. This is so we can show a result saying, oh, look, your dice were balanced. No, they're not. But it's made now 3 successes, where there's been not many successes for most of the game. Because it doesn't matter anymore, does it? This is where you start realizing the array is a computer and it doesn't give a fuck about you. But he does make the final completion right there. So there's the final score out of the Hooligan Division, the second round. Ogres go on to finally win a tough game 2-1. In the analysis of the game afterwards, it's going to be fun seeing what went wrong this season. All the Kislev can actually answer for, looking at the dice of that game, is its luck is the reason they lose. Now, admittedly, the Ogres, maybe they're not breaking armor quite as much till later when it's inevitable they're going to by odds break it. But the first half, every roll can pretty much go right for the Ogres, does go right, and it helps they have 5 rerolls. As for Paul Edmonton, the analysis at the end shows that the 18 times in the game, they made 18 attempted blocks on Snotlings with 3 dice, of which 16 of those were with a player that also had block. The odds say that should work. That should almost always work. They only worked 5 times, and the comedy is, as you saw there, 3 of those were on turn 16. You tell me what kind of game he's having. Well, as the coach has noted, well, that's what happens when the block dice are absolutely treacherous. But that's Blood Bowl for you at any given Sunday. And besides, this wouldn't be the Hooligan Division if it wasn't an Ogres going into the finals. You better dread it, dwarfs. We're coming for you. Ogres, may Nuffle bless your dice.